me to see the theater back tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
How many here have seen Dune Part 2 before? I told you. That is great. Well, it's an honor for me to sit here and talk to you. We know each other, but this is the first time that I've had a chance to ask you questions that in front of a very large public and also with a lot of brethren from the Directors Guild of America. How many here are with the DGA? Yay, okay, fantastic. So let me start by saying that there are filmmakers who are the builders of worlds. And we know, it's not a long list, but we know who a lot of them are. You know, starting with Méliès, and of course, Disney, and Kubrick, builder of worlds, George Lucas, George Powell, Ray Harryhausen I include in that list. Fellini built his own worlds, Tim Burton, obviously, Wes Anderson, Peter Jackson, James Cameron, Christopher Nolan, Ridley Scott, Guillermo del Toro. The list goes on, but it's not that long of a list. And I deeply, fervently believe that you are one of its newest members of that list. World building is not an acquired skill. You have to have had an exotically imaginative childhood. Denis, what was your childhood like that brought you here?
Actually, it was boring. No, but I would say that I won't go into therapy sessions, but the idea of being in contact at a very early age with graphic novels coming from Europe called Metal Hurlant, or like with authors like Bilal, Tourrier, Mézières, Moebius. I was like drawn into at a very early age reading these guys created. You're talking about world builders. These are the founding fathers of science fiction, of modern science fiction, I think I was put in that water too early.
No, but it was, but you know, and of course, you know, you go way back, and we talk about not so far back, Arthur Clarke. And I mean, there are so many, you know, Heinlein, there are so many world builders in literature and science fantasy and science fiction. But this is a desert-loving story. I think there's a line in Lawrence Arabia about, you know, why do you love the desert? And what does T.E. Lawrence say? Because it's clean.
It is actually. There's something. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But just for such a desert-loving film, there is such a yearning for water in this movie. For all the sand you have in this film, it's really about water. You know, it's just, you know, the sacred waters that are yearning for green meadows and the blue water of life. You know, you filmed the desert to resemble an ocean, a sea. The sandworms were like sea serpents. And that scene surfing the sandworms is one of the greatest things I have ever seen. Ever. But you made the desert look like a liquid, and I have to ask you how you and Greg Fraser, your DP, captured this, because just the definition of the dunes, did you have to do it leaned in on Lawrence Arabia? Did you have to wait for the very early morning hours for your shots, or just a very late day when the sun was low to get the amazing pictorials?
Yeah, that we really structured. We didn't use any artificial light in the desert. The idea was, and that's why we shot it with digital, because I wanted to go in very, very low light. We were able to shoot. It's amazing with those cameras. You can shoot the sun is gone, and you still can shoot 45 minutes. Or it's like really we went very dark. It's on film here, and the idea was that each scene, specifically it was in the screenplay, of course, at specific moments, having spent a lot of time in the desert and knowing the impact of the sunlight, we shot specific scenes. That it's created a real puzzle in the schedule, meaning that we were starting some specific scenes early in the morning, jumping into another scene the rest of the day, and finishing doing the X scenes at the end of the day, like the kissing scene, for instance, is done over 4 or 5 days. That was shot at a specific hour of the day to keep continuity, and which specific sand dunes that had the perfect orientations. Each dune, it was like the strangest casting I did in my life, those sand dunes, and we looked, Greg and I, like madman, trying to find the specific shape, and the specific orientation according to the specific time. And Greg used Unreal Engine to capture some sets on computer to be able to calculate very specifically at what time we will do each shot. You get really nerdy with that, with calculating, but it was super precise to achieve what we wanted to do, because we didn't want to compromise.
So you didn't have any actors that were just said, I'm not coming out of my dressing room, it's too hot, or anything?
No, actually, there was no dressing room. That's the trick. I'm joking, but because there was like a tremendous, fantastic, I must say, infrastructure. The logistic in Abu Dhabi was amazing, because you needed, as you shot in the desert, you need a lot of support for the crew, and that it's quite amazing what they done. They created eco-friendly roads that are not existing anymore as we speak, but they were like maybe I think 18 miles of roads were designed in the desert, and then there were tentacles of sidewalks that were like created for the crew, and it was like a tremendous amount of logistics. So but actors were, they were so generous. But it's the thing, the impact of the landscape. Everybody were getting back to the hotel exhausted, but a smile, because we've seen things there that were absolutely stunning. Every day it was like, and you're talking about water, the desert being an absence of water, but there's a lot of water in the desert actually. And
that's a seabed once.
Yeah, exactly. But in the atmosphere, and then there's like it's a landscape that is very moving, because it's like at the surface it's an image of death, but there's so much life in it, and that's really moving. Mm.